Okay, right, just a quick one about multiplying decimals. Okay, now, sounds scary, isn't nearly as bad as it sounds. So, let's go for this now. It's 2.7, and we're multiplying by 3.1. Looks horrible, but what we can do is we look at the number, okay, we look at our numbers, and at the top, okay, we can see that we've got 2 numbers after our decimal places. Okay, that's going to be really important later on, because in my actual question, I'm just going to get rid of those decimal points. I don't want it. I don't want to see them. Okay, now all we've got is a normal multiplication. Okay, just a really standard multiplication. So if I get the pen back, draw my line underneath. Okay, so 1 times 7, 7, and then 1 times 2 is 2. Okay, obviously this number here is 10 times bigger, so the first thing we need to do is draw a 0, okay, to show that our next number is going to be 10 times bigger. 3 times by 7 then is 21. Okay, I'm going to put my 1 there, and I'm going to need to carry 2. It's more like a Z. Carry my 2. Okay, so 3 times 2 then is 6, but we need to add on our 2, so we then have 8. Okay, we then go for our normal addition afterwards. Okay, because by this point, if we're looking at this, hopefully we're pretty confident with our multiplication methods. And we are going to have 7 there, we are going to have 3 there, and we're going to have 8 on the end. Okay, so here our answer is apparently 837. Now, let's look back at our question. Surely that cannot be right. Okay, and that's because I took the decimal points out. Because in our question it said 2.7 times by 3.1. Okay, it's not going to be 837. But this is where we go back to those little yellow lines that I drew here. Okay, now these are really important because in our question there were 2 numbers, 2 digits that came after the decimal point. That means that in our answer there also needs to be 2 digits that come after the decimal point. So that's 1, 2, and then our decimal point is going to go there. Okay, so our answer for 2.7 times by 3.1 is 8.37. Okay, so it's all about how many digits are after the decimal point in your original question. You take the decimal point out when you're doing your multiplication, and then you revert back to putting it back in and looking back at how many decimal points were after the how many digits were after the decimal point in the question, and you put those back into your answer.